met me yet, my name is Miss Jan with Dynamic Education Adventures, but everyone calls me the Science Lady. So you should have a STEM kit here. It's pretty heavy this time. So we're going to go ahead and open that up, see what we have inside. Some of you might have already taken a look to see. All right, so we have some Diet Coke. We have 2 bottles of that. By the way, this is 12 ounces. Okay, so it's a rather small bottle. Oh, and then we have some Sprite. All right. Interestingly enough, we have a puppy piddle pad. That's either a really bad sign or a really good sign. And then you have 2 portion cups, one with 3 things in here and one with sort of a bunch of little things. Okay, so if you haven't guessed what you have in these right here, what do you think those might be? We have Mentos. All right, so you have 3 Mentos. But what about this stuff right here? This is actually rock salt. How many of you have ever made homemade ice cream? It's the kind that you crank. So either you might get tasked with the chore of cranking the ice cream, which takes a long time, or you have an electric one. Well, you have to put the canister with the ice cream, you have to surround it with rock salt because that actually gets it cold enough to make the ice cream. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a test putting some of these things in our diet soda or our Sprite and see what happens when we do that. So what we're going to do to start out is you're going to open up the puppy piddle pad. All right. And I basically just, because it's a really large one, I'm just bending this in half like this. I'll show you guys what I've done here. All right. This just helps to sort of minimize the mess because it definitely has a potential to be very messy. But we're actually going to do a rather less messy, for sure, way to do this experiment. And I'll talk to you about how to make it more messy in the future if you'd like. So who can tell me, when you open a soda, what sound does it make? All right. It's basically like, right? So the reason why is soda is carbonated. Carbonated is something that keeps the soda fresh. And what that means is it has carbon dioxide in it. Now, carbon dioxide is the same gas you make every time you exhale. So it's all around you, right? So it's safe to be in the soda. But the problem is you have all of this gas that's trapped in a soda. And if you guys know, I'm sure you know this, matter is everything. Anything that has weight and takes up space. And matter is made of teeny tiny things called molecules. We have all these gas molecules in there. Well, you take something like Mentos or rock salt, and on the outer edges, there's these teeny tiny holes. They're called nucleation sites. These nucleation sites give a place for the gas molecules to bond to. So when you drop a Mentos in a Diet Coke, gravity pulls it down and it creates bubbles over and over again until the carbon dioxide decides to take over the space. And the only way the gas can take over the space is to get rid of some of the liquid. All right, so that's the experiment we're going to do. Before we get started, though, you can open your Mentos cup here. And because it's a good way to start this off, you can take 1 Mentos out and we're going to enjoy a minty snack. It's just very tasty. All right, so now you'll have 2 Mentos left. All right. I'm going to open a diet soda, the Diet Coke. So you can go ahead and open that, open one of them. Let's listen for that sound we were talking about. There we go. Okay, and you're going to take, I have to chew the Mentos. It's just better that way, I think. All right, you're going to take 1 Mentos and look at it closely. Can you see those nucleation sites? No. You can't see them. They're microscopic. They're super teeny tiny. And what we're going to do on the count of 3 is we're going to drop the Mentos in the soda. I'm going to do it first, and then you guys can do it. So let's see what happens, and then you'll know what to expect when you do it. All right. So resist the urge to put the Mentos in there. All right. I'm going to turn this down. All right. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. There we go. There's that experiment I was talking about. All right, now you guys can do it. 3, 2, 1. All right. Good job, guys. I'm watching your reactions. Very nice.
I have a question.
What's your
For our
question?
science lady. Okay, so those volcanoes that people would make in like middle school and whatnot that have stuff bubble out the top, are they working on a similar principle to this?
They absolutely are. So
Okay.
generally, those kind of volcanoes that you maybe made in elementary school, those are made with vinegar and baking soda. The cool thing about vinegar and baking soda is when you mix those two things together, you get a really cool reaction. And guess what? It also makes the gas carbon dioxide. So
Okay.
similar, but just with different things. Okay, it's impressive how much of the soda the piddle pad picks up, right? I know, it's awesome. So the reason why is there's a special powder inside of the piddle pads. It's called sodium polyacrylate, and it's super absorbent. So it's going to absorb all of that soda. Now, that was an impressive reaction, right? But how can we make it bigger, do you think? One thing we could do is we could have more soda, right? So if you use a 2-liter bottle of soda, and instead of 1 Mentos, say you use 4 or 5 Mentos, that is going to increase that reaction. And it's going to push out more soda because there's more Mentos and more soda to push out. The key trick with that is to be able to drop all 4 or 5 Mentos into the soda at one time. So there's something very cool. If you want to look for it, it's called a Geyser Tube. And it's a tool that allows you to stack the Mentos, pull a pin, and drop them in. If you don't want to get that, you can take 2 index cards or something like that and make yourself your own tube. And you can stack the Mentos in there and take the other piece of index card and put it on the top of the soda and then pull it out, drop the soda, and run away. You might get some soda on you. That happens. I saw somebody said that they have one of the Geyser tubes. Yeah, they're awesome. It makes life much easier if you want to experiment some more with this. Okay, so I have a question for you. We're going to switch now to Sprite. Do we think that the reaction is going to be bigger with Sprite and Mentos? Is it going to be smaller, or is it going to be about the same? All right, there's really only one way to find out, right? So you're going to move your diet soda. And by the way, you can see the Mentos in the bottom there. If you want to, you can actually take a little sip of it, and it's a nice minty flavor. It's very weird, but it is minty. I think it's tasty, but that's just me. All right, so we're going to go with the Sprite now. All right, there's that sound that we're looking for. Okay. All right, so we're going to take 1 Mentos. I'll do it first, then you guys will do it. There's the 1. All right, 1, 2, 3. There we go. Okay, it's a good reaction, but it's actually not as much as the diet soda. So you guys give it a try now. If you're all set up and ready. 3, 2, 1. All right, nice. All right, it's always fun to watch that. Okay. Here we go. And the reaction is actually going on still, which is a lot longer than it did with the Diet Coke. So it's still going on there. This one stopped a long time ago, still fizzing and bubbling. So why do you suppose that the reaction is still going on like that and was just a teeny bit smaller than the diet soda? What are some of your guesses about that? Okay, so one of the differences with, here's diet soda. Ah, okay, good guess right there. Hunter said more carbon dioxide. So the main difference, obviously, is the color and all that. We know that's not the case. The main thing is one of these has sugar and the other one does not. So diet soda does not have sugar in it. That means that you're going to have less of a sticky mess, but a better explosion than with a Sprite because you have sugar in it. So it slows the reaction down just a teeny bit. And again, it's still fizzing in there a little bit. So that sugar is going to kind of keep that going, but it's more of a tame reaction. Another difference with your diet soda, if you have it from the refrigerator and you take it out, it's going to be pretty cold, right? The colder it is, the more it's going to slow down the reaction. So if you have warmer Diet Coke, your reaction will be faster and bigger. So that's another way to do that. Okay, so now we have the rock salt here. So we're going to give this a try. Now, this one is a bit of a challenge because you have a lot of the salt to actually put in the soda. So you have to be pretty quick about that. What if it's almost boiling? That could really turn out to be pretty dangerous, right? You get super hot soda. And I think you might run the risk of the plastic actually melting. But that's definitely a scientist question right there for sure. All right, so we have all of our rock salt. And we have one more diet soda. I'm going to open this up. There we go. Okay, so what are your thoughts about the rock salt? Are we going to get any kind of explosion with that? Yes, no, maybe. It's hard to know until you try it, right? All right, so here's my soda. I'll do this first, and then you guys will do it too, and you can see how fast you kind of have to put this in here. So we'll see. Are we going to get a decent explosion with rock salt? You always hear about Mentos being the best thing. Hard to know until you actually try it yourself. So let's see. All right, I'm going to churn this down. All right, here is my rock salt. And you may not be able to pour all of it in there, but I'm going to get as much as I can in the diet soda. Let's see what happens. 3, 2, 1. No! What? Look at that. All right. Are you guys ready? So I actually got all of mine in there. So as fast as you can. Don't get too worried about it. I know it can be a little bit of pressure. All right. So on the count of 3, 3, 2, 1. Ah, nice. It just never gets old. Okay, are you surprised by that? You never hear anybody mention Diet Coke and rock salt, right? But here's the thing about the rock salt. This way smaller than the Mentos, and you have way more pieces of it. I know it was crazy, right? I love putting rock salt in Diet Coke. So think about it. You have so many more of these. They're tightly packed together, so you have more nucleation sites. And when you dump it in the soda, they disperse through the soda instead of the Mentos just kind of staying in that big clump. So it's going to increase your reaction and more soda is going to come out. Now, I think it was you, Hunter, that said that you had one of the geyser tubes. You can actually put some of the rock